Mealena, one of Giuseppe Tornatore's masterpieces, was released in 2000. The surface theme of this film is about the blindness of public opinion and the focus of sight, but the film has a deeper theme and implication. First of all, in terms of filming techniques, Tornatore's shots are as rich and realistic as ever, not only switching between different emotions with ease, but also Sicilian flavor is spot on. In addition to these usual features, Tornatore's used a few special techniques in this one. One of the first is the use of a large number of voyeuristic perspective shots. For example, when Mealena dances with a photo, when she is violated by the lawyer, the picture has a foreground that obscures the edges. Sometimes the circle of the telescope, sometimes the shape of the eyelids imitating Renato. This crop shot allows the audience to become a voyeur as well, and thus to better understand the emotion of the main character, Renato. At the same time, because the act of voyeurism itself carries a strong sense of intervention in life, when Mealena is later raped, what the audience experiences is no longer erotic, but a deep sympathy for what happened to her. In addition to Renato's voyeuristic scenes, there are also a lot of other characters' subjective perspectives in the film. The camera sequences are often like this. The expression of the observer are filmed first, followed by the actions of the observed. These subjective point of view shots are not neutral narratives, but with the subjective comments of the people around them, which fits very well with the content of the film, where everyone is pointing fingers at Mealena. But even though there are subjective shots of the supporting characters, there are no subjective shots of Mealena throughout the film. She is the subject of stalking, spying, and observation, but the film does not show her subjective point of view and the people she observes. From this perspective, Mealena is not a typical character who is under pressure, motivated, and trying to change herself. She is more like an image, a symbol that we all share. She is decharacterized, idealized, distanced, and deified. In terms of characterization, there are several scenes in the film where Mealena walks, but only once does she look straight ahead, and that is when she dyes her hair red and becomes a prostitute. At this point, she no longer sees herself as the person she used to be, and does not care about what others say about her. Combined with Mealena's tragic encounter, we see the whole process of a woman's inner struggle. Once she would hold a picture of her husband and dance, and would defend herself in court. She wanted to fight, but did not have the power to do so, nor did she have the support of those around her. In the end, she could only admit her fate and accept her status as a prostitute. But even then, she was not a weak figure, but still dedicated and brave. As for the main character, Renato, he is the narrator of the story and an observer. His feelings for Mealena originate from sexual desire at the beginning. For example, when he first met Mealena, he would masturbate with her and would often imagine Mealena's naked body. But he did not have the courage to talk to her or to do anything when Mealena was unfairly treated. But later in the film, his feelings gradually rose to love. For example, his dreams gradually reduced the obscene elements. In the end of the film, he finally has the courage to write to Mealena's husband to help them, and personally said his first words to Mealena and gave her blessing. The film's service theme is talking about the blindness of public opinion and the focus of sight. As in the beginning of the film, the ant is played with by the children, and the sunlight focuses on it, causing it to struggle and die in pain. Mealena is a dedicated woman. Her beauty is known to all, and people focus on her, and even slander her, making her suffer and become a prostitute. But there may be another theme to this film. First, the legendary nature of the story. The fact that every single person in the town knew Mealena and thought she was beautiful, which is like an urban legend in itself. In addition, the legend is that the people in the town, except for Renato, acted in a surprisingly consistent manner. For example, when her husband died, no one expresses sympathy for her, but more contempt, which is dramatic. The atmosphere of this legendary story is very similar to Tornatori's another film, The Legend of 1900. The film is about an era and a large group of people who immigrate from Europe to America. The surface story of The Legend of 1900 is also very legendary, much like Mealena. The correspondence between the two is not only the legendary nature of the story, but also in the title of the film. The Legend of 1900, 1900 being the name of the person. Mealena, which Mealena is the name of the person too. Both of them use the name of a person as the title of the film. So, are there any similarities in the themes of these two films? First, at her husband's funeral, Mealena was dressed as the Virgin Mary and greeted by the crowds. As we know, in most people's minds, they think of Catholicism when they see Virgin Mary, and the Vatican, the center of Catholicism in the world, is right in Rome, Italy. Second, Mealena became a prostitute and began to entertain Germans. This is a reminiscent of Italy's history as Germany's vassal state during World War II. Later, when the American army entered the city, Mealena was no longer a German prostitute. She was taken to the streets as a criminal, where she was executed by the woman in full view of the public. This is a reminiscence of the Allied invasion of Italy during World War II, when Italy surrendered and withdrew from the Axis powers, but for some time afterwards was still regarded as the main culprit of World War II. After her husband coming back, Mealena was recognized by the public again. Historically, Italy eventually became a republic and returned to the international community. In addition, throughout the film, Mealena does not seem to have much of a choice. She was taken over by the other men, played with, and even became a tool of exchange. This is a reminiscence of Italy's weak armaments and vacillating position. Combined with this evidence, the director seems to have consciously linked the image of Mealena to the land of Italy. There are many elements of war in the film, reminding the audience of the times and historical background. Even the similarity between the size and location of the characters in the original poster of the film and the map of Italy tends to say that there is a correspondence between Mealena and the land of Italy. At the end of the film, Renato confesses his love for Mealena, but the whole story never mentions the reason why he loves her, because his love for Mealena has no reason. In the eyes of director Tornatori, he is Renato, who has always watched over his lover, but because of his small ability to save her, he can only bless her from afar. He has been to many places, but his favorite is still the homeland of Italy. Just as Renato said in the end of the film.
Pedalavo come se fuggissi. In realtà fuggivo. Da lei, da quelle emozioni, dai sogni, dai ricordi, da tutto. E pensavo che dovevo dimenticare. Ero certo che sarei riuscito a dimenticare. Ma oggi che sono vecchio, che che ho consumato banalmente la vita, che ho conosciuto tante donne che mi hanno detto ricordati di me e io le ho scordate tutte. Ancora oggi è lei l'unica che non